In June 1944, while Adolf Hitler and a Nazi high command believed they were fully prepared to stop the greatest military invasion in history, a secret plan had already begun destroying Germany from the inside without firing a single bullet. Inflatable tanks moved across English roads during the night. Fake radio transmissions flooded the air with military commands that never existed, and double agents fed Berlin carefully crafted lies. The most shocking part is that the Nazis believed every word of it, and that enormous deception changed the course of World War II forever. But what almost nobody realized at the time was that if just one detail failed, thousands of Allied soldiers could die within hours on the beaches of France. Tonight, you're going to discover the incredible secret operation that fooled Hitler's army and opened the door to D-Day itself. And before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like, because stories like this prove that wars are not won only with weapons, but with intelligence, manipulation, and perfectly crafted deception. Now turn off the lights, raise the volume, and prepare yourself to enter one of the greatest military deception operations ever created in human history. At the beginning of 1944, Europe was trapped under the brutal control of Nazi Germany. Almost the entire continent had fallen under Hitler's domination, and the Allies knew they needed to act before the Third Reich became even stronger. The plan sounded simple on paper, but nearly impossible in reality. Cross the English Channel and invade occupied France to begin liberating Europe. This invasion would later become known as D-Day. But there was one enormous problem. Hitler already knew an invasion was coming. The only question was where. The French coastline had been transformed into a deadly fortress filled with bunkers, mines, artillery, machine guns, and heavily armed soldiers ready to turn any Allied landing into a massacre. German commanders waited every day for the attack to begin. And that is exactly when a dangerous idea was born. If the Nazis were expecting an invasion, then the Allies would make them believe in the wrong invasion. The real goal became convincing Hitler that the main attack would happen at Pas-de-Calais, the closest point between England and France. While German forces concentrated there, the real invasion would strike Normandy instead. Today it sounds brilliant. Back then, it was a desperate gamble that could collapse at any moment. To make the deception believable, the Allies created something almost unbelievable: an entire ghost army. Yes, a military force that barely existed at all. Fake military camps suddenly appeared across southern England. From the sky, everything looked completely authentic. Rows of tanks, military trucks, airfields packed with aircraft, and thousands of soldiers preparing for battle. But there was one absurd detail: many of those tanks were inflatable. Several airplanes were made from wood and canvas. Entire vehicle convoys were fake. It was all military theater designed specifically to fool German reconnaissance aircraft. The Allies understood that Nazi spies constantly watched Britain from above, so they transformed enemy surveillance into a weapon against the enemy itself. And it worked perfectly. German aerial photographs showed what looked like a massive invasion force preparing to attack Calais. Meanwhile, the real troops assigned in Normandy were hidden elsewhere under extreme secrecy. But visual deception alone was not enough. The Allies knew they also had to fool German intelligence communications. So radio operators began transmitting fake military traffic 24 hours a day. Orders, supply requests, troop movements, and battle preparations filled the airwaves constantly. Every transmission sounded authentic. Every message was carefully scripted. German intelligence officers listened to what they believed were real military preparations for the invasion of Calais, without realizing the entire thing was fiction. But perhaps the most important weapon in this invisible war was not tanks or airplanes. It was spies. During the war, British intelligence captured several German agents sent into the United Kingdom. Some were arrested immediately. Others received a shocking offer: secretly work for the Allies as double agents. Many accepted, and among them was one extraordinary man known by the codename Garbo. His real name was Juan Pujol García, a Spanish citizen who managed to accomplish something almost impossible: earning the complete trust of Nazi intelligence. Garbo created incredibly detailed fake reports about Allied military activity. He even invented an entire network of imaginary spies across Britain, complete with names, professions, personalities, and detailed backstories. The most unbelievable part is that German intelligence actually paid money to support this fake spy network that never existed. As D-Day approached, Garbo carefully fed Berlin false information, suggesting that Normandy would only be a distraction while the real invasion force would attack Pas-de-Calais later. Hitler believed him. German commanders believed him. And that single lie would help determine the fate of the war itself. Then came the night of June 6, 1944. Thousands of Allied ships silently crossed the English Channel under darkness. The sky filled with aircraft while paratroopers dropped deep behind enemy lines. Inside the landing crafts, terrified soldiers waited as rough waves slammed against metal walls. D-Day had begun. Within hours, the beaches of Normandy became scenes of absolute chaos. Machine guns fired endlessly from German bunkers. Explosions shook the sand. Soldiers fell into the water before even reaching shore. In some places, it looked like the invasion was collapsing. But while this nightmare unfolded on the beaches, something remarkable was happening inside Hitler's command structure. Many German leaders still believed Normandy was only a diversion. They remained convinced that the real invasion would happen later at Pas-de-Calais. Because of that belief, critical German armor divisions stayed away from Normandy, waiting for an attack that never came. And that delay changed everything. It gave the Allies precious time to secure their positions, reinforce the beaches, and push inland into France. Imagine how incredible this really is. While soldiers fought and died under enemy fire, an invisible war of deception was silently protecting the entire invasion from total disaster. If Hitler had immediately deployed all available armor divisions into Normandy, the outcome of D-Day could have been completely different. In the days that followed, the deception continued. Fake radio traffic remained active. Double agents continued sending misleading reports. Allied intelligence carefully maintained the illusion that a second and much larger invasion was still coming to Calais. And unbelievably, Hitler continued believing it for weeks. During that critical time, major German forces stayed trapped in defensive positions, waiting for an attack that would never happen. Meanwhile, Allied troops expanded their control across France. Cities were liberated. Supply routes were secured. Nazi defenses slowly began collapsing under pressure. The secret plan had succeeded beyond expectations. And there's something deeply fascinating about this entire story. Many of the soldiers fighting on the beaches had no idea that an enormous deception campaign was secretly helping them survive. While bullets and artillery exploded around them, another war was being fought in silence, a war made of lies, fake armies, coded messages, manipulation, and psychological strategy. That combination of intelligence and courage became one of the greatest turning points of the 20th century. Decades later, historians still consider this mission one of the greatest military deception operations ever created. Its official name was Operation Fortitude, part of a much larger deception strategy known as Operation Bodyguard. The goal was simple: convince Hitler to believe anything except the truth. And it worked with terrifying effectiveness. Perhaps the most disturbing lesson from this story is realizing how even the most powerful regimes in history can collapse when leaders begin believing only what they want to believe. Hitler ignored warning signs because he became trapped inside his own assumptions. The Allies recognized that weakness and transformed Nazi arrogance into a deadly trap. Maybe that is why this story remains so powerful even today, because it proves that the greatest battles in history are not always fought only with bullets and bombs. Sometimes they are fought inside the minds of generals, politicians, and entire nations. And when you think about it, the fate of modern Europe may have been shaped by inflatable tanks, fake radio messages, actors pretending to be soldiers, and one man feeding lies directly into the heart of Nazi intelligence. Now imagine for a moment if this operation had failed. What if a double agent had been exposed? What if German pilots discovered the fake tanks? What if Hitler had recognized the deception even a few hours earlier? D-Day could have turned into one of the greatest military disasters in history. Tens of thousands of Allied soldiers might have died before ever escaping the beaches. The war could have lasted much longer. The future of Europe itself might have changed forever. And that is exactly what makes this story so chilling and unforgettable. The modern world may have been shaped by one of the greatest lies ever told during wartime. While most people remember the bloodshed of World War II, few understand the silent war fought in the shadows, where information became more powerful than bullets. If you made it this far into the video, comment Fortitude below so I know you stayed until the end. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because here you'll discover real stories so unbelievable they sound like Hollywood movies, except they actually changed history forever. In the next video, you'll uncover another secret World War II operation hidden from the public for decades, one that still shocks historians to this day.